Let's start with something that might blow your mind. Take a moment to think about the Monopoly Man, the iconic character from the classic board game. What do you picture him wearing? If you're like most people, you probably remember him with a monocle, right? But here's the twist. He never had one. That's right, the Monopoly Man, also known as Rich Uncle Pennybags, has never worn a monocle. Yet so many of us are convinced that he did. This is a perfect example of the Mandela Effect in action, a phenomenon where large groups of people remember something differently from how it actually happened. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but why does this happen? Why do so many of us have false memories of the same thing? Some psychologists believe it's just a case of collective misremembering, our brains filling in gaps with information that seems right based on other similar memories. But what if it's something more? What if these are not just isolated incidents of memory distortion, but evidence of something much more profound? What if we're actually experiencing glitches between parallel universes? This isn't just about the Monopoly Man. The Mandela Effect touches on countless aspects of our daily lives. Have you ever looked at the logo of a well-known brand and felt like something was slightly off? Maybe the spelling of a word you've known all your life suddenly looks wrong, or the lyrics to a song you've sung 1,000 times don't quite match what you're hearing now. These are the moments that make you question not just your memory, but reality itself. And they're happening to millions of people around the world. Let's dive into more examples of the Mandela Effect and see if any of these trigger that sense of something being not quite right for you. First up, let's talk about Pikachu, the beloved Pokemon character. Many people vividly remember Pikachu having a black tip at the end of his tail. However, if you look at images of Pikachu today, you'll notice that there's no black tip. His tail has always been completely yellow. So why do so many of us remember it differently? Is it a simple case of misremembering, or could it be that in another reality, Pikachu did indeed have a black-tipped tail? Let me know in the comments, how do you remember Pikachu? Next, let's consider the case of Looney Tunes. When you think of the famous animated series featuring Bugs Bunny, how do you spell tunes? Many people remember it being spelled Looney Tunes, which would make sense, given that the show is about cartoons, but in reality, it has always been Looney Tunes, with tunes referencing music rather than cartoons. Does this one catch you off guard? Drop a comment below if you always thought it was tunes. Another example that might surprise you involves the famous line from the movie Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Ask anyone to quote the iconic line that Darth Vader says to Luke, and they'll likely say, "Luke, I am your father." But here's the kicker. That's not what he says. The actual line is, "No, I am your father." So why do so many people remember it the other way? Could it be that in another version of reality, that's how the line was delivered? I'm curious. How do you remember the line? Share your thoughts. Let's move on to a curious case involving the Fruit of the Loom logo. Many people distinctly remember the logo featuring a cornucopia, a horn-shaped basket overflowing with fruit. But if you look at the logo today, you'll notice there's no cornucopia, and there never has been, according to the brand. So why do so many people have a clear memory of something that apparently never existed? Is this another glitch in the fabric of our reality? Let's discuss this in the comments. And lastly, there's the well-known quote from the Disney movie Snow White. Most people remember the evil queen saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" But if you go back and watch the movie, you'll find that the actual line is "magic mirror on the wall." So, where did mirror, mirror come from? Has it been misquoted for so long that it became the norm? Or could this be another example of the Mandela Effect in action? If you're as puzzled as I am, let's talk about it in the comments. Part 3. The science and mysteries behind the Mandela Effect. There are several theories that attempt to explain the Mandela Effect, and they range from the scientific to the downright bizarre. On the scientific side, many psychologists believe that the Mandela Effect is simply a case of confabulation, a term used to describe the brain's tendency to fill in gaps in our memories with fabricated details. This can happen for a number of reasons, such as exposure to similar memories or cultural influences. For example, the Monopoly man might be confused with Mr. Peanut, who does wear a monocle, leading to a collective misremembering. But let's go deeper. There's a fascinating idea in quantum physics known as the many worlds interpretation. This theory suggests that all possible outcomes of a quantum decision actually occur, each in its own separate universe. So when you make a choice, say choosing to wear a blue shirt instead of a red one, another version of you in a parallel universe might have chosen differently. According to some theorists, the Mandela Effect could be a result of these parallel universes occasionally overlapping or converging, causing people to remember different versions of reality. Another aspect to consider is the phenomenon of false memories, which can be surprisingly convincing. Researchers have conducted experiments where participants were shown doctored photos or told detailed stories of events that never happened, and many of them formed vivid, believable memories of these fictitious events. This suggests that our memories are far more malleable than we might like to think. But could the Mandela Effect be something more than just false memories? Could it be evidence of a reality where multiple versions of history coexist? Consider the potential involvement of technology. As AI and quantum computing advance, some theorists speculate that it may be possible to manipulate reality at a fundamental level. Imagine a scenario where powerful entities, governments, corporations, or even clandestine organizations have the capability to alter or overwrite memories on a mass scale. Could this be a tool of control used to subtly shift the collective understanding of history and reality? What if the Mandela Effect is not just a glitch, but a deliberate attempt to reshape the world as we know it? But there's also a more philosophical angle to explore. The Mandela Effect challenges our very understanding of truth and reality. If large groups of people can remember the past differently, what does that say about our trust in our own memories? Could reality itself be more fluid than we've ever imagined? The idea that what we perceive as truth could be a reflection of multiple overlapping realities is both mind-bending and deeply unsettling. But let's not just theorize, let's investigate together. What are your experiences with the Mandela Effect? Have you ever noticed something that seemed to change from how you remember it? Share your stories in the comments below and let's delve into this mystery together. And if you think others need to hear about this, don't forget to share this video. The more we talk about it, the closer we might get to uncovering the truth. Part 4. The Mandela Effect across history and culture. Is there more to the story? As we dive deeper into the Mandela Effect, it's essential to look at how this phenomenon might connect to historical and cultural shifts. For instance, there are reports that certain historical events are remembered differently by large groups of people across different cultures. Take the example of Christopher Columbus. Many of us were taught that Columbus discovered America in 1492, but did you know that some people distinctly remember learning that Columbus never actually made it to mainland America, only to the islands in the Caribbean? Could this be another instance of the Mandela Effect, or is it simply a case of historical revisionism? Another puzzling example is the famous Henry VIII portrait. Many people recall a portrait of Henry VIII holding a turkey leg, symbolizing his infamous gluttony. However, no such portrait exists. The closest thing is a painting where he is holding a pair of gloves. So why do so many people across various cultures remember the turkey leg? Could it be that in another reality, the portrait did indeed depict him in such a manner? If so, what does that say about the way our history is recorded and remembered? We also see the Mandela Effect in literature. For example, the works of George Orwell. Most people remember Orwell's famous dystopian novel as being titled 1984. But there are instances where people recall the book being named 1948, aligning with the year it was written. This subtle difference might seem trivial, but in the context of the Mandela Effect, it raises questions about how our collective memory can be influenced, or even rewritten. Consider the global phenomenon of Shazam, the movie that doesn't exist. Many people, especially those who grew up in the 1990s, vividly remember a movie called Shazam, starring the comedian Sinbad as a genie. But if you try to find this movie today, you'll come up empty-handed. There's no record of it ever being made. Some people theorize that this could be a case of collective false memory, but others suggest it might be an example of the Mandela Effect, where a movie from an alternate reality somehow seeped into our collective consciousness. Another intriguing case involves the world-famous painter Leonardo da Vinci and his masterpiece, The Last Supper. While the painting itself is universally recognized, some people claim to remember the arrangement of the apostles differently. In particular, there are those who recall Jesus holding a chalice in the center of the table, a central theme in Christian symbolism. Yet if you look at the painting today, no such chalice exists. It makes you wonder, could this be another reality overlap, where the iconography of one universe has bled into our own? And what about JFK's assassination? The number of people in the car during John F. Kennedy's assassination is another point of contention. Some remember there being 4 people in the car: Kennedy, Jackie, the driver, and the governor of Texas. But if you look at the historical footage today, you'll see that there were actually 6 people in the car. This discrepancy has led some to question whether we are remembering a different version of history. Could it be that our memories are pulling from different timelines? Lastly, consider the lyrics to the classic Queen song, "We Are the Champions." Many people distinctly remember the song ending with the line, "of the world." But if you listen to the original recording, the song simply ends with, "We are the champions," without the added phrase. This has left fans puzzled and questioning their memory. Is it possible that in a parallel universe, the song ends differently? The Mandela Effect challenges everything we think we know about memory, reality, and the universe itself. As we continue to explore these mind-bending examples, it's clear that our understanding of reality is far from complete. Could there be deeper forces at work, manipulating our memories or even the fabric of reality itself? Could these be signs that our universe is not as stable as we believe, and that alternate realities are just a hair's breadth away? But let's not just theorize, let's investigate together. What are your experiences with the Mandela Effect? Have you ever noticed something that seemed to change from how you remember it? Share your stories in the comments below, and let's delve into this mystery together. And if you think others need to hear about this, don't forget to share this video. The more we talk about it, the closer we might get to uncovering the truth. Part 5, the Mandela Effect and the nature of reality. Are we living in a simulation? As we dive deeper into the Mandela Effect, it's hard not to ask some of the biggest questions of all. What is the true nature of reality? And could the Mandela Effect be evidence that we're living in a simulated universe? The idea that we might be living in a simulation, a reality generated by some advanced civilization, or even our own future selves, has gained traction in recent years, especially among scientists and philosophers. The Mandela Effect, with its strange and often inexplicable distortions of memory and reality, fits neatly into this theory. If we are living in a simulation, it's possible that these glitches are errors in the programming, moments where the underlying code of our universe is exposed. Consider this: if a simulation is advanced enough to replicate an entire universe, it might also be capable of running multiple scenarios or timelines simultaneously. These different versions of reality could occasionally intersect, causing the kinds of memory discrepancies we see in the Mandela Effect. Perhaps what we perceive as reality is just one of many versions being tested, refined, or manipulated by the creators of the simulation. Another theory suggests that the Mandela Effect could be a side effect of quantum computing. As researchers push the boundaries of quantum technology, they're beginning to unlock capabilities that could influence reality itself. Could these experiments be causing ripples across different dimensions, subtly altering our world in the process? If so, the Mandela Effect might be our first clue that reality is far more complex and far less stable than we ever imagined. There's also the possibility that we are part of a grand experiment, one where our memories and perceptions are constantly being tested and altered. What if, in some alternate reality, certain events played out differently, and our minds are catching glimpses of these alternate outcomes? It's a chilling thought, but one that aligns with some of the most cutting-edge theories in physics and metaphysics. But here's where it gets really mind-blowing. What if the Mandela Effect is not a glitch, but a feature? What if it's designed to make us question our reality, to push us to explore the deeper mysteries of existence? Could it be that whoever or whatever created this reality wants us to start asking these questions, to challenge the very nature of the world around us? Let's take this even further. If the Mandela Effect is real, and if it's evidence of overlapping realities or a simulated universe, what does that mean for free will? If our memories can be altered, if our past can shift without us even realizing it, how much control do we really have over our lives? Could it be that we're just players in a game, our choices and actions predetermined by a script we can't see? These are the kinds of questions that keep philosophers and scientists awake at night, and they're the kinds of questions that the Mandela Effect forces us to confront. As we continue to explore these mysteries, it's clear that the Mandela Effect is more than just a collection of quirky anecdotes. It's a doorway into some of the deepest and most profound mysteries of existence. So what do you think? Are we living in a simulation? Is the Mandela Effect a glitch in the matrix, a sign that our reality is not what it seems? Or is it something even stranger? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by these questions as I am, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unknown. In our next episode, we'll explore whether ancient civilizations might have had knowledge of these alternate realities and what that could mean for us today. Could the Mandela Effect be a clue left behind by those who came before us? Don't miss it.